Hello, everyone. This is Rick with the Cyber Pro podcast, where industry leaders share their insights because hackers never sleep. Brian, I'm excited to have you on today. First things first, tell us who you are, what you do, and tell us a little bit about why you and your organization and company are awesome.
Sure. I'm Brian Mahone. I'm a senior cyber insurance specialist here at CyberSynic. What makes us special and awesome is we're a combination between a managed cyber security service provider with our own in-house SOC and a wholesale brokerage. So we offer complete cyber risk mitigation, bundling both the proactive, preventative cybersecurity with the reactive cyber insurance.
So, talk to me a little bit about that, right? I mean, the bundling of that seems conflicting in my heart, but I also love that you're doing it. So dig into that a little bit for me.
Yeah, I 100% agree with your first assessment. It's a great idea in theory, right? Double the protection, kind of a belt suspenders approach. In practice, it's very difficult. So we're taking a channel approach where in the insurance industry, we're partnering with mom and pop retail independent insurance agents, and in the technology industry, we're partnering with technology advisors and MSPs and IT service folks to really bring that expertise from a cyber insurance perspective and a cybersecurity perspective, and we can put those together or offer them a la carte and kind of just solve problems where they need to be solved.
Brian, talk to me a little bit about why people need cyber insurance and who should be buying it and kind of just dig into that because we get so many questions about cyber insurance and I have others that will follow up on, but really right now, who should be buying it and why should they be buying it?
Really, anybody that relies on technology to run their business should buy cyber insurance. It's financial loss protection to deal with the ramifications of a data breach and losing, PHI or PFI or PII. So, you have a podcast like us for business, or you're on social media, or you have a website, or you accept credit cards, or you blog, you email. I mean, it's very difficult to run a business in 2025 without some sort of dependence on technology, right? So cyber insurance is really financial coverage to deal with issues, right? So it's kind of broken down into three parts. First party cyber, hey, I'm the policyholder, I need help. These are things that are going to get me out of trouble. Business interruption, privacy attorneys, those types of things. Third party cyber, oh no, my patients, clients, vendors, contractors are suing me because I messed up. And then cyber crime, oh, we just wired money out the door and it didn't go where it needed to go.
Brian, talk to me a little bit about how underwriters are determining the risks associated with writing a policy for cyber insurance and how they're kind of using that
Mhm.
to understand the premium prices.
Yeah, there's really, I'll say, five big metrics of like how a cyber underwriter begins to rate a policy. Number one is, what you do, your industry, how much of it you do, your revenue, you $1 billion company or $1 million company. Have you had an incident or not, a data breach? And hopefully the answer is no. But if the answer is yes, tell us a story. What happened? How the bad guys got in? What did you learn? Why are you a better risk now than before the incident happened? Uh, how much data you have and what kind of data? Is it millions, millions of records? You some sort of text message marketing firm that sends millions of PII every day, or just kind of collecting emails to do business. And then the last one is really your cyber hygiene, your IT controls. Is it kind of the bare bones? Oh yeah, we have MFA and we have backups, or is it, hey, we have a SIM solution or 24/7 SOC monitoring our network with an MDR tool? Do you have an incident response plan? Do you have someone in charge of cybersecurity? Um, where are you at in your kind of cybersecurity journey? That's really how they look at it. In terms of that application and collecting that data, they do it once a year in a PDF questionnaire. Some are better than others. They also use a lot of external scanning vulnerability tools like a BitSight or Security Scorecard, which I always say take those with a big grain of salt. But keep in mind, these underwriters, they're not cybersecurity professionals, so it's better than nothing, but it's not the greatest.
We talked a lot about things that they're looking at, solutions, technology. But if you had one maybe silver bullet, maybe that's not the right way to put it, but
Yeah.
how could someone get the best cyber rate?
Right now, there's a lot of talk in the industry that MDR is the new MFA, right? So if you remember during COVID, everybody went to go work from home and we all had to, get tokens and get text messages to our cell phone, and everybody needed, multi-factor authentication. Now, studies are coming out that, hey, we could have avoided 80% of these claims had this business just had MDR in place. So, the firms like the Sophos and CrowdStrike and Huntress and Blackpoint, all of them are seeing a lot of renewed interest from stemming from the cyber insurance industry. And there's a lot of partnering going on in that regard as well.
Brian, what are some trends or evolutions that you're seeing in the cyber insurance market today?
Today is a very strange market, Rick. I say it's as soft as a marshmallow, right? So what does that mean? Prices are going down, coverage is going up, deductibles are going down, uh, uh, reinsurance is widely available. So appetite or carriers' willingness to write coverage is increasing. So it's a buyer's market, right? So it's a good time if you don't have cyber insurance to consider it. It's a good time if you're feeling maybe you're underinsured to maybe increase your limits. Maybe you can get better coverage for the same price you were paying. And what's concerning is the claims data doesn't necessarily support that soft market. I mean, it's not like these incidences are happening less. I mean, turn on the news. So it's, we feel the market will turn. It's just a matter of when and how hard.
So let's actually combine that, right? You're seeing those trends on the soft market, but now what are you seeing from an evolutionary standpoint in the cybersecurity landscape, not the insurance side?
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of cyber insurance carriers saying, "Hey, here's your quote for cyber insurance, but here's the tech that we can give you as well." So that used to take the form of, a free, hour-long cybersecurity consultation, or here's a free little phishing security video, or here's a 5% discount on whatever widget. Now it's, hey, here's 10 free MDR licenses, or hey, we'll waive your retention if you take our MDR product or your deductible, or hey, we'll decrease your premium, $8,000 if you buy up with the tech and the cyber insurance. I'll say the uptake from policyholders hasn't been strong. It's a tough sell, right? I mean, people don't like insurance companies for many and a lot of them either are buying cyber insurance because they have to comply with a contractual requirement. Maybe they're working with the state or a government or some, Fortune 500 company where they just need to, comply. And then the other ones, they have a trusted IT advisor down the road, their MSP or whoever. So why, get your tech from your, multi-billion-dollar insurance carrier if you already have it from, Jimmy the Geek down the road that you love?
So let's talk about that, Brian. Let's talk a little bit about why an MSP or an IT consultant or a technology advisor might want to partner with a cyber insurance specialist because they have those relationships with their current customers.
Yeah, there's a handful of reasons, and I'll say from the very jump that because the way the insurance industry is regulated, that if an MSP or a technology advisor refers business to a cyber insurance agent, they cannot legally pay them. It's rebating, right? So you can only pay someone with a insurance license that does the CE credits and guarantees that. But that being said, so there's not a financial incentive, but directly related to the premiums, indirectly there's a lot of incentives, right? You're going to increase your client retention. You probably do whether it's a prospect and you're doing it, upfront, some sort of cybersecurity evaluation or audit to kind of poke holes in their vulnerabilities and their network. You can augment that process if you partner with a cyber insurance specialist saying, hey, not only are we going to look at your IT infrastructure, but we're going to look at your policy as well. And, do you have adequate coverage? Are there nasty sublimits in there? Are you being overcharged? How do you compare to your peers and competitors? The other thing is kind of playing defense, right? So if I'm a cyber insurance agent and an MSP refers me business, I'll go do my thing and go out to market and get that, say, construction company a quote that I can stand behind. But I'm not gonna, push the 10 free MDR licenses from ABC Insurance Company very hard because I'm looking out for my technology advisor or referral partner, right? The other thing too is just the applications, right? If you really get this going and partner with a cyber insurance specialist, you can get some efficiencies and streamline the way the technology advisor helps their client through the application process from an IT controls perspective. There's dozens and dozens of cyber insurance carriers out there, and if you have a partner, maybe you start getting familiarity with a few of them, and they can all use the same universal application. That's helpful because it eats up time to learn a new form and how the questions are asked.
I love it. And just so you know, Brian, it's amusing because I have actually in the past partnered with some insurance brokers, and I actually have a provider's license for the reason that I can refer because
Yeah.
I saw value in that, right? And I see value in being able to support on the cybersecurity front
Hmm.
what a customer may need, but also being able to say, hey, I know a guy, I know some folks that can support you with your insurance journey. And it's a great two-way street. I feel that people don't go down that path. They don't go through the provider path and figure out what they can do. And so have you seen that? Is that something that you're seeing in the market at all?
I've found it kind of lies with the master service agreement. There's I'll say, um, uh, 4 different ways you can look at it. Hey, Mr. Client, I mandate if you want to be a client of our, MSP or whatever, you have to have cyber insurance in place. Or hey, we strongly recommend it. So that's the kind of, I'll say, trusted advisor camp over there. The other camp is, oh yeah, it's a good idea, go ahead and get it if you want. And then the other, uh, worst version of that is, I don't care. I don't tell you how to run your business. The kind of laissez-faire approach. So I'm seeing a lot of folks move to strongly recommend if they're in that other camp, and I'm seeing a lot of folks who strongly recommend to mandate.
Brian, talk to me a little bit about the differences between a cyber warranty, cyber insurance, and captive self-insurance.
Mm, interesting. We'll go from the bottom up. The very junior, smallest, cheapest is the cyber warranty, and that is not insurance. So the way the warranty works is it's underwriting a tech stack, and it's covering product failure, right? So think of the CrowdStrike outage. It wasn't a data breach; it was an outage. It was human error, right? Um, so the way these warranty companies work is they will underwrite a tech stack. Do you do these 10 things for your clients? Yes. Okay, you're eligible for the warranty. And then technology advisors and MSPs can embed that in their offering as a differentiator. Hey, don't go with the Microsoft guy down the road. We have Microsoft and a warranty. And there's no claims adjuster, there's no deductibles. It's kind of a reimbursement type of coverage. It's much more simple, lower limits of coverage, much less causes of loss. Like it'll maybe only cover, let's say, business email compromise and ransomware or something. It's just next level up. Cyber insurance, full-fledged financial protection, regulated. There's claim adjusters, there's deductibles. You can get millions of dollars of coverage. It's pretty robust, right? It's going to respond to cybercrime. It's going to respond to ransomware. It's going to help you with privacy attorneys and forensics and negotiating ransomware. It's underwriting an actual insured or company, and you could get that from a number of companies. Chubb, Travelers, whoever. A captive cyber insurance carrier is a little bit different, where you're almost your own insurance company, right? So all the Fortune 500 basically insure themselves because they have so much capital and so much money. So we are starting to see more of those solutions out there. Marsh, one of the biggest insurance brokerages on the planet, just started a captive cyber insurance carrier product program last March and put 20 of their biggest, best cyber insureds in it. It's a way to reduce premiums, have more control. If captives are more for bigger firms that have seriously invested in cyber risk management. I mean, they probably have their own in-house SOC and CIOs and just the whole kit and caboodles that, they don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, forking over premiums to a regular insurance company year after year after year. So they treat it more of it as an investment.
Brian, are there any emerging technologies, trends, or approaches that you're excited about in cybersecurity and the overall IT space?
I'm really excited for phishing and security awareness startups or smaller firms that are using a lot more sophisticated psychology and automations. Because all the MFA and the backups and all that, I get that you have to have, those essential cybersecurity controls, but I always like to think of cyber risk management as a belt and suspenders approach, where your employees are your biggest asset, but your biggest enemy as well. So that's you really have to take phishing security awareness training seriously. And I've used a big vendor my whole life of various firms, and you can click the videos and just go about your business and lie to comply, so to speak. And then cyber insurance is that other kind of belt and suspenders approach. So I'd like to see innovation in that space for sure. Just training individuals how to spot things, because it's to someone like me, it's obvious. Like, I just bought a new car and got a weird letter in the mail that almost looked like it was a warranty, but it didn't say Subaru anywhere on it. And, I was 95% sure it was a scam. So I just texted a picture of it to the sales guy. He's like, 100% scam. I was like, yeah, but how many people do they get,
Brian, as part of the cyber psychic and your world being kind of a cyber specialist, what's the problem with buying cyber insurance from your local insurance dude?
Quite frankly, there's a lot of issues with it. The average insurance agent has not been incentivized to learn cyber insurance. The average insurance agent makes all their money off, say, workers' comp or health insurance or property insurance. Cyber insurance is typically an afterthought to a generic business insurance agent, right? There's also not very many training programs out there or certifications around it. I had happened to do one in conjunction with Carnegie Mellon and Chubb that was 9 months long, roughly $5,000. Right, your average insurance agent isn't going to spend that much on continuing education. It's a difficult dynamic moving product. Like, we know houses have been burning down for hundreds and hundreds of years, and how close you are to a fire station, and what kind of building materials a building is made out of. With cyber, like, the coverages can change much faster. I mean, monthly, weekly, yearly, where other lines of coverage, not much happens for decades. The last thing I'll mention on that is understanding the information technology terminology and the insurance terminology, mashing them together, and then spitting them back out in layman's terms to a business owner or an executive who's not an insurance person or not an IT person. That is a skill of in and of itself that, yeah, your regular insurance agent is not even interested in acquiring.
Let's take that one step further. You talk about skills that you need to sell cyber insurance. You have to understand cybersecurity, but what are some common objections that you get when you approach somebody about a cyber insurance policy?
Oh, isn't that already covered on my general liability or my property? And maybe 20 years ago, a little bit. Today, I mean, there's exclusions baked all over, other insurance coverages, property, business auto, whatever. There are some little riders or endorsements. I never recommend them. They're never very robust. Other objections. It's in the cloud, nothing's ever going to happen to us, which I saw a funny t-shirt one time that was like, the cloud is just somebody else's computer, which is totally true. But they have a point, right? From a business interruption operational perspective, sure, you might be able to get back up and running pretty quickly, but from a privacy notification legal perspective, it doesn't matter if it's in the cloud or on a hard drive in your laptop when PHI is breached. So that one's slightly easy to debunk. I'll say that's the other one I hear all the time. Oh yeah, like I'm just I'm secure because of the cloud. The other argument is, well, have you ever read your cloud services agreement with AWS or Google Cloud or Azure? Good luck fighting them. It basically says, hey, we guarantee very minimal things, and you're responsible for security settings, and good luck. Hey, you think you're gonna fight with Google's legal department over that if you have a data breach? You better luck winning the lottery. So,
Brian, final question is a two-parter for you. I want you to first give us kind of a quick answer around what you feel is the best way for an organization to make sure that their cyber insurance claim is approved.
Communicate quickly and often. When we see claims get denied, it's because, we forgot about the cyber insurance and we didn't tell you for 6 months. Or, we called the IT guy down the road because we panicked. Well, IT guy down the road's probably not on the preferred panel of the carrier. And the time to ask to get them on the panel was when you bought the policy and not when you have a claim. And, they're very likely to say yes if it's a reputable company. You just have to ask. Other one where claims get denied is we lied either intentionally or unintentionally on the application. There's a huge story a year or so ago. Some big manufacturer in Illinois, the CFO was rushing through the app and said, "Oh yeah, we have MFA on this, and turns out he only had it on like one piece of software come claim time, and claim denied. So that application becomes part of the policy, and the policy is a legally binding contract. Those are I'll say the top three why claims would get denied. If you're working with a decent agency, they should have a claims advocate in-house to handhold you through the process. And if you have a decent carrier, they should have a data breach response coach that will handhold you through the process. And typically that's a law firm. And it's a 24/7, 365 hotline.
Love it. So final piece of this second part question, what's your number one tip to anybody who has a cyber insurance policy?
If you have a policy, get it out, and that 1-800-365 incident response hotline, put it in your cell phone. Because when these things happen, it's going to be 2:00 in the morning, Memorial Day weekend, and you're not going to have your company laptop, or it's going to have skull bones on it, or you're not going to have your cyber insurance policy back in the filing cabinet at the office. And you're going to want to hit that panic button as soon as you can. And that panic button is that hotline number.
Thank you for tuning into the Cyber Pro podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on new podcasts and all of our cool bonus content.